Tonight on the NewsHour.
My name is Esme. Today I'm going to school first time.
The big day is now over. We will show you how Esme and the rest of the kids survived.
At one school, lessons take a back seat to student safety.
Also ahead, we told you about the plan for a new stat day off.
But Global News asks, can the city really afford to take a holiday?
Will the heat and dryness of summer continue? Stay tuned for my full fall forecast.
New research on why some people can't lose weight.
It's 6 o'clock. This is the NewsHour on Global.
Well, the first day jitters are now behind them, and youngsters everywhere are reflecting on the return to class today.
Teachers gave us books, and that's all we did today, but so far it's pretty good. We got a good teacher.
I got a few new friends, and I love my teacher.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. It was a fairly typical return to class. New teachers, new friends, and so far, no homework.
But for some students, the first day of school brings apprehension amid new threats of violence for students still dealing with the murder of a classmate. Global's Daryl Kananenbelt reports.
The first day back.
Kind of scared, kind of, excited in a way.
And also oblivious to the increase in police presence. Global News confirming that school executives requesting plainclothes enforcements after getting wind of a rumor that violence might revisit C.W. Jeffries on the first day back.
We heard a rumor that there might be some increased activity around certain schools.
What kind of activity? The director of Toronto Schools would not say, but confirmed the safety review panel looking into problems at this school overheard a troubling rumor 2 weeks ago.
So I immediately contacted the chief of police, and he took action to ensure that there were precautions taken.
Precautions not only at CW, but at another inner city school, Westview Centennial, just a few blocks down the street.
Yeah, no, I gotta get back inside.
Okay.
So I don't want to get into that right now, but thank you for...
Westview's principal was tight-lipped. What about you guys?
Pardon?
Increasing his presence, or...?
No.
Students at Westview were unaware of extra security, but in light of the gun murder down at neighboring C.W. Jeffries campus 3 months ago...
I think everyone's gonna try to keep everyone controlled now because of what happened, so they won't try to relive it.
But parents dropping off kids did. The first day back at C.W. Jeffries is not without apprehension.
If you take the time to keep an eye on your kids, they can survive here and strive here just as good as anywhere else.
The school day came and went without incident. Students now just want to put the summer behind them and hope this campus can learn from the death of Jordan Manners, but make a fresh start.
I've heard a lot about the new principal, and I've heard a lot of good things, so I think the school's going to become a better place, especially with the cameras and stuff, so there's still hope for Jeffries.
Daryl Kananenbelt, Global News.
And the first day of school got off to a rough start for a group of students today when their bus was hit on the way to class. Now, as Robin Gill tells us, this isn't the first accident for the bus driver.
First day of school, this is not a good beginning.
Not for the 20 students on the bus, not for the man behind the wheel, and most definitely not for the parents who came rushing over when they saw that a car had crashed into a school bus.
I was very worried. I ran over here as fast as I can. I live like 10 minutes away, so I came over here right away.
The bus driver is Peter Hamilton Batkin. He's been driving school buses for Laidlaw for 2 decades and was planning to retire soon.
The 68-year-old driver had a good record when he first started driving 20 years ago, but over the years, he's had a few accidents. Laidlaw insists they were minor.
He has a fairly good record, yes.
Bus drivers must have a good record to apply. They spend 30 hours in a classroom taking a safety course, another 20 hours behind the wheel training.
Is it enough? For a driver who's been driving for a while, it usually is.
But concerned parents wonder if more defensive driving training is necessary.
They should have certain tests every couple of years or every couple of months when you're after a certain age.
Too late for this driver. After finding himself in this predicament, he's decided to call it a day. Robin Gill, Global News.
Meanwhile, a school bus driver being blamed for another crash. This one in Florida today. 11 children were taken to hospital after the bus went off the road and hit a tree. There are no serious injuries. Students did tell police, however, the driver was talking on his cell phone before the crash.
Of course, everyone on the road has a responsibility to drive safely, especially around school zones. That's why Toronto police are paying very close attention to drivers as the kids get back into the routine this week. Everyone behind the wheel is being urged to be alert and cautious, but even veteran police officers admit that is not always top of mind.
I had the same thing this morning. I left a little bit late coming from downtown. I was traveling a little faster than I normally travel. I was talking on the cell phone and I had myself a close call. We all do it. We're all human, but we have to make a conscious effort to pay attention to the speed limit.
Motor vehicle accidents are the leading cause of injuries and death for children in Canada. The Toronto Police Safety Campaign runs until Friday, September 14th.
Well, for many kids today, of course, meaning a return to the classroom. For thousands of children, today was their very first time getting ready for school. Global News joined one eager little 3-year-old as she got ready for the big day. Nathan Downer has her story now.
3-year-old Esme Rivnak isn't usually up and about early in the morning, but today is special.
What are you going to do at school today?
I will learn how to be.
Yeah?
This is Esme's first day of junior kindergarten. She seems relaxed and ready for the big day, but her parents David and Angela are a little anxious. They've been through the first day of school jitters once before with their oldest son William, and it wasn't easy. It took William 2 weeks before he would stay in class by himself without his mother by his side. They're hoping Esme adjusts more quickly.
Have a great day. I love you, Mommy.
I love you too, sweetheart.
Mom's main concern is Esme's peanut allergy.
Well, there's always the chance that she may come in contact with something she's allergic to, so I'm worried about that.
Worries aside, Esme's ready to go.
Okay, let's go.
Her school is only a 5-minute walk from home, so there's time for distractions.
All those flowers? Yeah.
Upon arrival, Esme meets her teacher, then gets familiar with her new surroundings. It doesn't take her long to make a new friend.
Oh, red.
The days of dropping the kids off on the first day are long gone. Nowadays, parents are invited to stay, all to ensure the children are comfortable. The system seems to work.
Not what I expected. I expected her to be a little bit more active, but she liked the Play-Doh, and she's willing to go back tomorrow, so you can't complain.
Esme was too shy to speak on camera, but told us off camera she can't wait to come back tomorrow.
Hi.
Nathan Downer, Global News.
Well, it's safe to say education is among the most important issues to voters in Ontario, whether you're a parent or in school yourself.
Although the campaign has not officially begun, all 3 party leaders using this first day of school to trade barbs over education policy. Our Queen's Park reporter Sean Malinell with exclusive information about a promise the Liberals will soon be making.
How are you? Good. How are you doing? Main Streeting in Mississauga, John Tory found both admirers and a longtime PC supporter who has big concerns about the Conservative promise to fund religious schools.
I want my kids to be able to meet these people, learn their heritage and internet with them. And if you have a Muslim and then you have a Chinese or whatever, you're separating them.
Is there any thought in the ranks that it might lose you more votes than it gains?
I think when you're doing something as a matter of principle and you're trying to address the question of trying to include more people in public education, you do it with a view to doing the right thing.
Meanwhile, the Premier also experienced the perils of free-form events as a grade school student gave him the rabbit ears while posing for a picture. But on the real issues, the Liberals are seizing on religious school funding whenever they get the chance.
2 million kids today are off to our public schools. That's a huge responsibility that we have to continue to assume. And I think taking $500 million out and putting that money into private religious schools would be a big mistake.
On the first day of school, the Premier pointed out that student test scores are up, numbers his opponents question.
And I think that, if anything, they have lowered the standards to some extent.
This is a political football, but it has nothing to do with how successful or how well kids are doing in the classroom.
The campaign officially begins next Monday, but the opposition's election vehicles are getting an early launch, and local candidates are already spending money to get their faces out before the voters. Global News has learned that the Liberal campaign platform, due out in a couple of days, will include a promise to help first-time home buyers. Currently, if you're buying a new home and it's your first, you're eligible for an exemption on the land transfer tax of up to $2,000. The Liberals say if you re-elect them, they'll extend that exemption to all first-time buyers. Sean Mallon, Global News, Queen's Park.
To other news now, and a disturbing story coming out of a daycare center tonight. A woman has been arrested for assaulting a child. Global's Shirley Engel has the story now.
It was a coworker that reported Leilavathi Moodley to management after allegedly witnessing the 54-year-old applying what police describe as excessive force to a 3-year-old boy on August 21st.
Fortunately, the injuries did not result in having to seek medical attention, and the child is fine.
The CAS was immediately notified, and Moodley was arrested 3 days later and charged with assault. She was also fired from a job she held for 17 years. Police are now talking to parents of other children at the daycare.
We are looking into additional information in relation to possibly other persons or other children that may have been victims of similar incidents prior to this one.
Christine's Child Care Academy is overseen by the city, which is also investigating. An acting supervisor who would only identify herself as Amy tells Global News staff are doing everything they can to assure parents their facility is a safe place for their children.
We hired the new staff member, and our staff members will be participating in a child abuse and behavior management workshop next week.
Parents like Ala Laliva, who brought her 6-month-old baby here for the first time today, say they're in shock.
Of course, I feel bad that it's my first day and I hear some bad news about daycare. Of course, it makes me feel bad and scared.
But some are having trouble believing the woman they affectionately called Layla could have hurt a child.
She was a great daycare worker, and I trusted her with my daughter, and I would still trust her with my daughter. It's an unfortunate incident, and I don't have enough details to really make a judgment.
It was just last month that the province launched a website for concerned parents with information on inspections on 4,500 daycares across the city. Christine's Child Care Academy was on there, but there were no reports of any concerns. Parents we spoke to say they're happy with the way the daycare handled the situation. In fact, the 3-year-old boy at the center of it is still attending the daycare. Meanwhile, Moodley is scheduled to make a court appearance October 8th. Back to you.
Shirley Engel, downtown. Thanks.
Turning to weather now, and Hurricane Felix slammed into Central America today, already claiming 2 lives and threatening much more damage. Felix came ashore near the border between Honduras and Nicaragua and quickly lost strength. But the real worry now is flooding and mudslides throughout the region. There are fears of a repeat of Hurricane Mitch 9 years ago, which claimed 10,000 lives.
Our meteorologist Anthony Farnell has a look at Felix and our own forecasts. He's up first.
That's right, and it's not going to be another Mitch situation. One of the main reasons for that, Mitch stalled for a couple of days over that Honduras area, over those high mountaintops, which to over 8,000 feet, some of the mountains there. This is a look at Felix. Felix is strong Category 5, only the first time actually ever where we've seen 2 Category 5 storms hit in one season. Since then, it's weakened quite a bit, and there's the center of circulation now hugging that Nicaragua-Honduras border, and it's going to continue to move towards the Pacific. Another reason it's not going to be as serious a situation, it's a compact storm, so it's not able to really tap the Pacific moisture. Here's a look at the latest, still a hurricane at this hour, a borderline tropical storm hurricane, winds of 120 kilometers an hour, and here's a look at our forecast track. It takes it up over those very high mountains and quickly weakens it into a tropical depression, but still flooding rain's a concern, as much as half a meter possible in some of those mountainous locations. Now, there's a look at the tropics. We're going to have more tropics plus our full fall forecast, and of course the next 7 days. That's all coming up a little bit later.
All right, thanks, Anthony.
Well, she is accused of killing a man who refused to give her and several other panhandlers some money. Tonight, Nicole Kish going before a judge trying to get bail. Gus Kim tells us what happened.
The panhandler's family walk outside the courthouse feeling victorious. Their 20-year-old daughter, Nicole Kish, has been released on bail despite being charged with murder. 32-year-old Ross Hamill was killed about 3 weeks ago after an argument with 2 women and 2 men who were allegedly panhandling just north of Toronto's entertainment district. Nicole Kish allegedly stabbed Hammond to death and was charged with murder. The 3 others were charged with aggravated assault. When Nicole Kish first appeared in court a few weeks ago after her arrest, she appeared haggard and disheveled. On this day, a completely different story. She had new-looking clothes, she had her hair done up, and she appeared refreshed. We cannot reveal what she said on the stand due to a publication ban, but it was enough to convince the judge he released her on bail. Her family has posted a $170,000 bond, and she'll be under a strict form of house arrest. She next appears in court in September. Gus Kim, Global News.
A Toronto mother accused of murdering her young daughter will remain in custody until next week. 32-year-old Charlene Chambers sits in jail as forensic officers continue to search her East End home where 3-year-old Kiana was found dead Friday. An autopsy showed she died from pressure to the neck and chest, but a paramedic said Kiana was found with burns all over her body. Her mother is back in court Monday.
One more crime note. A man shot by police in the neck, taken to hospital late last night following a chase in Regent Park. Officers pursuing a car on River Street near Dundas when they fired at least one shot. The suspect's car hit a bus shelter and a police cruiser. The province's special investigations now looking into the shooting. Well, Toronto City Council back in action tonight.
High on the agenda, Toronto's ongoing budget crisis. And it seems the mayor is sticking to his guns with a strong message for the city. There's no way to avoid new taxes this year. Our City Hall reporter Mark McAllister has more.
A 3-week vacation can be so invigorating. This time, David Miller is ready to take his plans for new taxes directly to the people.
I'll be out in neighborhoods across the city, as will councillors, speaking directly to Torontonians, giving them the information they need.
When Mayor Miller's plan for new taxes was voted down in July, he was criticized for shunning public consultations. Now Miller's website has an open letter to constituents telling them he needs money or to expect more service cuts. He says he'll listen to critics of the plan, but today was dismissive of any alternatives.
Having a casino at Ontario Place or someplace else will not make it easier because you know what, it's further away.
How about a waterfront casino? The mayor's response, why bother?
There's no point in us going through a charade with people. A lottery, a casino, all of these things raise money for provincial governments.
Any other ideas for raising money at City Hall these days seem to be met with a quick dismissal, despite the call for creativity in a time of crisis.
By being a little bit more progressive in terms of our thinking, we can really capitalize and get the desperate funding and revenues that City of Toronto needs.
While others turn their attention toward the campaigning provincial politicians, and the issue of uploading services just about everyone agrees should be paid for by the province in the first place.
Public anger that we saw prior to the July 16th vote, we've redirected some of that anger to the province. There's emails in the hundreds.
A welcome deflection for the mayor for now, although it seems he'd sooner help himself than hold out hope.
I'm glad our funding has become a provincial election issue. All of the parties have addressed it in some fashion, and we look forward to the Conservatives fleshing out their policy in more detail.
For the record, Dalton McGuinty did say today that he does not support the idea of a Toronto casino. As for the mayor, no word yet on when he plans to get out and speak to the public or mobilize his councillors. However, he does plan on attending a number of public engagements over the next month. Carolyn, back to you.
All right, Mark McAllister at City Hall tonight. Thank you.
City Hall and Toronto's film industry getting together on a new strategy to help bring more movie shoots to Hollywood North. A delegation representing Toronto's film industry presenting its recommendations to councillors today on how to turn things around. Film production in the city has been on a downturn, going from a $1.2 billion industry in 2000 to $700 million in 2006. The industry says City Hall just needs to do more to woo productions.
But the City of Toronto can be a welcoming host to the service industry, which it is, but we can always do a better job. And domestically, be the cheerleader that says, we are the place, we are the center of excellence for English language production in Canada.
The high Canadian dollar and competition from places such as Montreal and Vancouver getting a lot of the blame for taking the luster off the original Hollywood North.
Well, despite the drop in movie production, the GTA has become a hotspot for movie pirates looking to counterfeit the latest Hollywood blockbusters. But as Jennifer Palisock reports, police have a new weapon to battle the illegal trade.
4.5-year-old Flo has a nose for crime. She isn't searching for drugs or bombs. She's on the hunt for DVDs. Flo and Lucky are the only 2 dogs in the world trained to detect the odor of DVDs and CDs.
They can't distinguish between genuine and fake DVDs or CDs. They will simply search, and when they find anything with that polycarbonate type substance on it, they will indicate it.
The Motion Picture Association hopes the dogs can help police fight a crime that is costing the industry billions of dollars worldwide.
The Malaysian pirates had these discs behind padlocked steel doors. They even tried putting charcoal around the doors to throw off the dog's scent, but the dogs were still able to sniff the DVDs from underneath the door.
The dogs were part of a 5-month operation in Malaysia and the Philippines, which led to 26 arrests and the seizure of 2 million discs worth $3.5 million. The dogs earned medals from the Malaysian government for outstanding achievement. Neil Powell is their trainer.
Teach them to obey the word find, and then what I do is I imprint on them the odor that I want them to find, which in this case is DVDs and CDs. So the reason that they're looking for the DVDs and CDs is purely to get the reward of their blood.
In Malaysia, Lucky and Flo were kept under tight security. After their operation there, movie pirates placed a bounty on them worth $30,000 Canadian.
Experts say piracy costs the Canadian film industry over $225 million in lost jobs and tax revenues. These dogs have worked in several countries, and industry experts are doing everything they can to stop piracy here. The dogs are a rare breed, but more will be trained for a leading role in the fight against movie piracy. Jennifer Palisock, Global News.
To developing news now, a word that the world's largest toy maker is set to announce another recall tomorrow because of toys that may contain excessive levels of lead.
This is going to be Mattel's third recall of Chinese-made toys. In fact, the Consumer Product Safety Commission says it is considering an investigation of whether Mattel notified authority as quickly as possible about one of the earlier recalls.
To health news now. Ever wonder why some people can eat anything they want and still stay thin?
Apparently the answer may be in your genes. That's with a G. The story now from Helen Chickering.
What should we do now? Skinny fruit flies are revealing valuable clues that may help explain why some people stay slim and others can't shake the fat.
It's an anti-obesity, anti-diabetes gene.
Research conducted at UT Southwestern has uncovered new information about a gene discovered 50 years ago, dubbed the adipose or fat gene. In studies in insects and animals, scientists found body size was directly linked to the quality of the adipose gene.
You turn it down its function, you get fat and get diabetes. If you turn up its function, you get skinny and lean, but you can eat as much as your neighbors and you have anti-diabetes. You're blocked from getting diabetes.
Like a volume control for weight gain, notes Cleveland Clinic obesity specialist Dr. Byron Hugworth, who adds a healthy dose of caution is needed.
I suppose if there's going to be excitement, it should be don't hold your breath with this particular product. Get out to the gym and on the streets and eat a prudent sort of diet.
Ray Laws, who has struggled with his weight for years, is sticking to a proven strategy.
Bottom line, it's calories in, calories burned.
The take-home message? Keep your eye on the science, but your feet on the treadmill. Helen Chickering, NBC News.
For these stories and other Global News Ontario content, log on to globalontario.com.